Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Annie and I'm the founder of Arrive. I am here to help you better understand Pilates overall in the whole industry and what I do. So I'm answering frequently asked questions that will hopefully help you try it because it has changed my life. So in my business, I work one-on-one with folks through a progression program. It's essentially Pilates, but we do weave in tons of yoga, exercise training, mindfulness, embodiment work, breath, vision and goals, self-worth work, lots of self-development tools also in my program. So it's Pilates, but with a little bit of mindfulness spice. And today I'm answering the most frequently asked question, what to expect in your first Pilates session. This goes for overall studio sort of industry standards. So if you're going to go try your neighborhood studio, and then I'll share what I add in my intake and first session process. So first, you can expect to do an intake form. This is going to give your instructor a history of relevant information that's going to help set them up, prepare them for their first session with you. Things include experience with Pilates or other exercises and hobbies, any injuries or chronic pain or physical limitations that you have. This, for me, in my process, this goes as deep as injuries and pain to when I do this certain thing, I notice this muscle more sore than another muscle. So I like to really zoom into the areas, whether you have pain or not, to just get a sense of where you're at in your body and what you notice after you do one exercise versus another. For example, if every time you run, you feel something going on in your left hip, maybe a click, or it always sort of spasms in the first few strides, and then it goes away, versus when you might walk, it doesn't do that. So just getting really clear on where it is that you're at in your body and any pain, limitations, sensations that are important to know. Also in your intake form, we'll go over regular daily things. So what kind of shoes are you most often wearing? What kind of chair are you most often sitting in? Do you work at a desk? Do you work standing up? Are you busy on the go, in and out of your car? And do you have a long commute? So just gauging how you spend most of your days in your body is going to help me get more information, help me and your instructor, whoever you end up seeing, get more information on how your body is in space. Because those daily habits or daily movements are so important to the picture, that knowing what those are and adjusting those is going to be just as important as the exercises that we do in our sessions. And next, we'll talk about sleep. Are you sleeping well? Are you not sleeping well? Do you wake up feeling refreshed and energized? Do you wake up with muscle aches and tightness? This will help us get clear on what position you're sleeping in and what position you need to be sleeping in, and maybe adjust some pillows, adjust some mattresses. I know for me, my chronic back pain was increased significantly because I learned my mattress was way too soft. I need a little bit more support in my mattress, and once I changed that, it was so much different. I noticed a change the first night. And sleep is so important because most of us are getting about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, and that's a long time to be in the same position or few positions on the same surface. So we really want to make sure we set you up to feel good and refreshed after your sleep. There's a few other questions in the intake form about goals. What do you hope to learn and achieve through working with someone in Pilates, through working with me? And just other need to knows, any other need to knows, experience traumas, physical or not, that are relevant in our work together. Next up, is the movement and goals assessment. This is going to happen in person. So you come to your first session. I already have your intake form. I already have a little bit of a snapshot into our work together. And then our first session, here we are. So we'll connect, we'll review your intake form, go over any further questions that I might have. I'll get really, really clear on why it is that you're here and what you're looking for. So then I can help you fill that gap, close that gap, and achieve what it is that you want. Goals assessment looks like breaking down physical and lifestyle and even like emotional goals. So how do you want to feel by the end of this? Are there any certain physical benchmarks that we want to try to measure? For example, I wanted to, in 2020, I set a goal for myself that I wanted to be able to do a full push-up with no shoulder pain or shoulder clicks. So we can work towards something like that as this goal, a measurable goal over our time together. And then some lifestyle goals. I want to move my body 3 times a week. I want to sleep 8 hours a night. I want to wake up refreshed. I want to drink more water. I want to move more in my life. So those lifestyle goals are so important to connect on because they will 100% be impacted and impact our physical sessions together. And then emotional goals, like I want to feel empowered. I don't want to bully myself to work out. I want to know that I deserve to work out. I want to manage my stress better so I don't spiral and dive deep into the pits of my emotions. I want to be able to get myself out on my own. These are so important because body and mind are so connected. So your mindset, your mood, your emotions are directly correlated to movement and how we feel in our bodies. So next up, we'll go over the physical assessment. For me, I like to first have the person lie down on their backs and just teach them the fundamental exercises, or also known as the principles of Pilates. So I take you through breath and how simply by breathing in and out without forcing anything, I show you all of the deep core stabilizing muscles that are supporting you by simply breathing. So we learn that we don't need to force and grit so much in our exercises, and that we just simply need to have full breath in order to access an incredible set of muscles from our deep core. Some of those muscles include transversus abdominis, pelvic floor, your diaphragm, multifidus, all those goodies. And next I'll teach you pelvic placement. So the ranges of movement in your pelvis, how it impacts low back, how it impacts the way your femur bones move into your hips, and the 3 places that we can have our pelvis in space. And we'll do an assessment to see where is your preferred and optimal pelvic placement. Next, we'll talk about rib cage placement. Rib cage is so it gives us so much information about the other parts of our spine, about our shoulders, about pretty much whole alignment. So where are your ribs in space? Are your ribs comfortably opened and fanned out? Are your ribs comfortably closed in? And then we can adjust on where your optimal place is to hold your ribs. Next, we'll move up to shoulder stability and mobility. The shoulder is the most mobile set of joints in our whole body. It moves in so many directions, and it lacks really secure anchors to anchor them in and stabilize them. So it's really hard to mobilize and stabilize them because they're on our backs. We can't see them, touch them, feel them in the same way that we can do, say, our ribs or our pelvis. So we work on scapula, which is your shoulder blades, mobility and stability. And then we work on our head neck placement. So your head is an extension of your spine. It often gets left out of spinal movements. And the head and neck is the second most common tension point pain area in adults. First up is low back. Second is head and neck. So we just learn about how our head moves with our whole spine as we're doing exercises and out and about in our daily life. We learn where we need to place it, how it moves, and how we can slowly reduce pain and tension in that area. So those are our basic principles and fundamentals that I'll introduce to you. It's a lot of information, so you might not get through all of it in the first session, and that's actually kind of preferred, so we're not rushing, but those are the main points that I try to teach you in our first session. We'll go through a few exercises once you learn those, and then we'll get up and I'll do a standing assessment just to see where you are in space when you're comfortably standing, any areas of tension or pain, or any areas that feel weak and sort of loose. We'll talk through those together and do an assessment of the whole body as you're standing. And so once I have all of that information, I'm able to make a progression program for you based on your needs, your goals, your unique body and shape. And we put that together, and week over week, we're progressing to reach those goals, meeting your body where it's at, also challenging and stretching it a little bit week over week in a way that feels really safe to you. All right, everyone, that is what to expect in your first Pilates session. Again, every studio is different, and I was speaking mostly to what I do. So next time you're curious about joining a Pilates studio, ask them what to expect in the first session with your new instructor. And if you have any other questions, reach out, click the link below. I have some more frequently asked questions on that page. Thanks for popping in.